Recently, I bought a Microsoft Surface Pro 5 for a very good price here in Australia. Is it still good here in 2023? Well, let's open up the package and see exactly what I got. This little tablet laptop hybrid cost me 191 Australian dollars, about 120 American. The seller deals with lots of ex-business machines and they had upwards of 50 of these available. They also packaged it very well. I've bought from them many times before and this is always the case. All of this bubble wrap is definitely going to come in handy as we are finishing up the move out of this house and my partner and I are building our own. And here is the Surface Pro 5 with detachable keyboard. Oh, and it has a little stand. This can be angled to your desired position. After working out where the power button was, it sprung into life. It came pre-installed with Windows 10 Pro, and after going through the initial setup, it was ready. Something I only just noticed was that the keyboard even has a backlight, something I've never seen before on a detachable keyboard. Another thing I've not come across before is a power adapter with its very own USB port for charging devices. So let's give this ex-business device a good cleaning. The keyboard is very securely held on with magnets. The display wasn't all that dirty considering it is a touchscreen with an impressive 3.2 aspect ratio 2736 by 1824 resolution display. A very high resolution indeed. The surface of the Surface is now spotless without any visible scratches or damage. Buttons that saw a lot of pressing around the edges are a bit grimy, but that's nothing a bit of eucalyptus oil can't fix. This stuff is basically just grime and dead skin from the user's hands. That's a bit gross, right? And if you're ever selling a device, give it a good wipe down. Most people don't actually like cleaning things. I'm a bit of an exception. You know what'll make this tablet even better? A fast and secure browser such as Opera, which even has built-in AI tools. Opera is super fast and easy to download, with advanced features such as a free built-in VPN and ad blocker all enabled with a few simple clicks of your mouse. The advantages of using Opera don't stop there. The generative AI service Aria is built right in. It's easily accessible in the sidebar. Make Opera look the way you want to. It's easy to enable dark mode and force all web pages to do the same. Changing your background is also a piece of cake. There's also integration with all the most popular music streaming apps. This seamless integration extends to your favorite messaging apps like Facebook and WhatsApp. Switching from another browser? Well, you're in luck. Transferring your bookmarks and passwords is quick and easy. And Opera is available on Mac, Windows, Linux, iOS, and even on Chromebooks. A fairly new feature are tab islands, allowing you to group and easily organize open tabs together, freeing up space and making browsing effortless. If you're someone like me who often has heaps of tabs open, this is a game changer. So what are you waiting for? Enhance your web browsing experience today with Opera. Links are in the description and in the comments below. The keyboard with its soft fabric material hasn't exactly aged well, to be honest. I gave it a good dusting and vacuum to remove any hidden crumbs from within. A bit of eucalyptus oil removed any gunk built up on the keycaps. Microsoft and their soft fabric devices are not something I'm really a fan of. They are harder to clean than regular old plastic or metal, and I don't know how much use this device saw, but it was enough for the edges to start fraying. The way the keyboard clips onto the tablet is pretty neat though, and you can choose 2 different keyboard heights depending on your typing preference. So let's install some games and see how it runs. Straight away, the Microsoft Store was a point of frustration. And with the system simply uncompressing games from Steam as they download, most of the RAM and CPU were being used. First of all, we've got Minecraft, or at least it might be. The game window is so tiny that it's hard to tell. That's just Windows and its inability to scale high resolutions well. Once in my Minecraft server, it didn't run too bad. At a far more reasonable resolution of 1400 by 900, it was getting upwards of 120 frames per second. Old school RuneScape was perfectly playable, but the very average trackpad made precise movements somewhat challenging. Stepping things up a notch, we've got BeamNG Drive at the absolute lowest graphical settings. I picked a low resolution that didn't look too horribly pixelated on this display. While that was somewhat playable, trying it at the native resolution was nothing more than a slideshow. How about a round of PUBG though? This machine is nowhere near the requirements to run the game. The lowest resolution you can pick is 720p, and with all the settings turned down, it's still not very playable. But I must admit I'm impressed it can even do this, with a dual-core, passively cooled i5 processor and only 8GB of RAM. Oh, and I even managed to get a kill, which was super hard given that I can barely control or see anything in the distance. Clearly this isn't meant for gaming. This Intel Core i5 model has a weaker GPU compared to the i7 model that was available. Light tasks and web browsing are totally fine, but the detachable keyboard is pretty poor. Half the time you can't feel whether you've actually pressed the key. An area this excels in is video conferencing. The quality is totally fine. Take a look.
Why hello there, today we are testing the built-in microphone and camera.
Are they of good quality? Well, you tell me. It even has a rear-facing camera, which is the best of the cameras. And here we are. Today, we are reviewing the new 2023 pot plant. That is a big improvement from the last pot plant. While the video recording maxes out at 1080p, you can actually take some somewhat reasonable photos. At a resolution of 8 megapixels and with passable clarity, this is actually a nice thing to have. Battery life is good enough, but what holds it back is the 7th gen CPU. Processors have come a long way in terms of power efficiency in the last few generations. You get more ports than you would on an iPad, for example, a micro SD card slot, mini DisplayPort, and a full-sized USB port. But in my opinion, if you mainly want a tablet and can live without Windows, an iPad is a far more intuitive and convenient experience. But if you really must have Windows and want the flexibility to transform your laptop into a tablet, the Surface Pro 5 is still reasonably good. Just don't expect iPad levels of touch functionality. This machine is far too underpowered for video editing, but since the display is pretty good, it is suited to photography. It has reasonable sRGB coverage and about 360 nits of brightness. Now for the downsides of this device. Most notably, repairability. To open it up, you're gonna need one of these. Heat it up in the microwave for 30 seconds, then lay it down on the edge to heat up the adhesive layer under the display. After about 2 minutes, you should be able to gently start separating the two halves. Keep applying the heat bag if the adhesive feels too strong. Take your time and work your way around all of the sides, and be careful not to insert the plastic picks too far, which can damage the cabling or the display panel itself. I'm only doing this for the sake of the video, as there really isn't much reason to open one of these, since the RAM and SSD are soldered onto the mainboard. Oh, and there we go. I actually managed to break the display panel itself. They could have easily designed these tablets to be opened from the back with screws, but they wanted to be much more like Apple. With all the adhesive removed, the panel can gently be lifted up. The display connectors are under these metal shields, which take a bit of patience to remove, and be sure to unclip both connectors before removing the display entirely. And there are the internals. Only the Core i7 version uses a fan for cooling. This one here just has copper pipes that disperse all of the heat away from the processor. If you can get one cheap and one that has a working battery, they're pretty useful for basic tasks, but are difficult to take apart and have no upgradable components. So there we have it, the Microsoft Surface Pro 5. And oh boy, is this a big step up from the first Surface RT that I made a video on about 2 years ago. For the price I paid, I think it's absolutely well worth the money. The design and the build quality is truly pretty great, although the detachable keyboard isn't amazing. But at least you can just yank it off if you want to use this like a tablet. Thanks for watching, and this is probably the last video that is going to be filmed in this room before we move into a caravan as we build our house. Thanks for watching, and I hope the house we build doesn't have any problems, so you take it easy and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.